There's been a fiery confrontation between victims of the Queensland floods and the insurance industry in the city of Ipswich. The federal government's Assistant Treasurer, Bill Shorten, was hosting a public meeting for victims when emotions boiled over, as many of those present talked about the shortcomings of their insurance policies in the wake of the flood devastation. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports.
We are moving! Man, I can feel the house moving.
Ipswich was in the path of the churning waters that swept down from the Lockyer Valley in January. Thousands were affected, but not all of them were covered by their insurance policy.
My responsibility in the government is in terms of working with the insurance part of Australia in terms of claims and the system.
Bill Shorten says he's closer to getting the industry to agree to more clearly worded policies.
I've been there 50 years!
But that's doing little to quell anger from those who feel they've already been cheated.
On that particular day, we had the dam opened at full capacity. We had a wall of water coming down from Grantham. We had 19 inches coming out of the sky at the same time. I would call that a natural disaster, wouldn't you? We are living in sheds. We are living in caravans. And we need help, and we need help now.
The meeting soon turned from angry to tragic.
I live in a tent. I'm sleeping on a camp stretcher.
A friend of the family described the full horror of the circumstances of the young boy and his mother.
Tammy and William are living under these bloody tents inside their house, which has been bloody condemned. It's full of sewage. There's blisters of paint on the walls that are popping, that have got bloody mould and sewage water still in them, running out of them. And they have to live in this house.
Many of those present held signs attacking their insurance companies. Mr Shorten says they should have been there to face their angry clients.
Individual insurance companies, after very clear invitations, chose not to come. Now,
did you expect them to?
Well, you've got to ask first.
An hour into the meeting, a representative from the Insurance Council of Australia finally arrived.
So far, we've had about 85% of all claims lodged have been accepted by the insurance companies. That's true. That's the data. That's the statistics. So it may not be representative of the people in this room. It may not be representative of the people in this room because you may have not had the right policies or been with the companies that cover it.
Many claims or appeals against claim refusals are being held up by a hydrology report being compiled by expert consultants. But there's already suspicion amongst locals, some of whom accuse the insurance companies of using the report to refuse claims to protect profit margins.
I actually worked in the insurance industry for nearly 10 years. I understand that you have an ongoing business relationship with these firms. So how can you stand there and tell us that these are independent reports when they're just clearly not?
I deny completely that there's been any influence by the insurance companies or the Insurance Council on those individuals. Those individuals represent large multinational companies with high-level reputation. They are professional people. Some of whom are listed on the stock exchange.
Despite the dust-up in Ipswich, town hall meetings are all the rage these days in politics. Politicians view them as a way of being seen to appeal directly to voters. Tony Abbott's using his cycling tour of northern New South Wales to try and lure votes away from independents Rob Oakeshott and Tony Windsor by holding town hall meetings in their electorates.
Is there any way that perhaps you can influence Rob Oakeshott and Tony Windsor in making...
Well, Sharon... Sharon, I want nothing more than to have Rob Oakeshott and Tony Windsor make good decisions. And if you can tell me how that might be brought about, I'd be very, very grateful indeed.
One target was the National Broadband Network, which is seen by the independents as a vote winner in rural seats, but Tony Abbott opposes it.
Much as I find my internet connection very useful, I'm not that convinced that $50 billion so that we can have faster movie downloads or interactive gambling is really that important a national investment.
Mr Abbott continues his cycle tour tomorrow to Walker and then into Rob Oakeshot's electorate on Thursday.
Woo!
Tom Eggleton,
That was a hard day.
Late Line.